thing is, this is what Job realizes in the story of Job. He doesn't have all the answers. He can't. He's not omniscient. He's always working with insufficient data. So even when he's suffering unjustly, which happens to him in the story, he's unwilling to draw the final conclusion that all he should do is curse God and die, because he doesn't know the whole story. And so what he decides to do is to maintain faith in his essential goodness and in the goodness of God, regardless, as his initial position. And see, it's the case. I just did a course for Peterson Academy on Mircea Eliade's book, The Sacred and the Profane. And one of the things that Eliade, who's a great historian of religions, is at pains to demonstrate is that whenever you take possession of a new territory, which means whenever you really engage in any activity, you put down a stake somewhere to indicate the central point. You have to do that to establish the rules of the game. The rules of the game are aspects of faith. And there's no way out of that. You can't establish anything without some movement of faith. Well, so then the question is, what should you have faith in? Well, the highest good. Why would you have faith in anything else other than the highest good? I mean, when you think about it in that way, it just seems self-evident. Now, you might sacrifice that for short-term gain. You were talking about that with regards to money, for example, or security. And it isn't money that's the root of all evil, right? It's the love of money that's the root of all evil.
Yeah,
right?
money's a tool. It can heighten who your heart really is. If you're generous when you're poor, you'll be generous when you're rich. If you're greedy when you're poor, you'll most likely be greedy when you're rich. It's just a reflection of who you are. It's just an access.
Well, something that this made me think of, because we're speaking about lying, and, that really is like a bad seed to have. Something that I've realized, in this last few years is that lying is almost a practice. And tell me what you think of this. I feel like sometimes it develops in children, right? Like it's a practice children start with, whether it's because they're scared to tell their parents the truth, so it's easier for them to lie and get away with it. And I feel like when you practice this as a child, then it becomes something that you use a lot as an adult, and it's kind of hard to break.
Definitely.
Right? So what would you say to, and I know you're doing a series with parents,